Today, we're going to talk about stock options, what they mean, what is a put, what's a call, how are options used, and whether it should make up a part of a smart investment strategy or if it's just another essentially glorified form of gambling. Now, it's impossible to teach the full details of options trading in one video, but by the end, you'll generally understand how these contracts work and what people mean when they're talking about the options terminology. So trading options is different from regular stock trading in that it involves the use of contracts. Now, when you're trading options, investors don't actually own the underlying asset or the shares of the stock. Instead, you are either buying or selling the right to buy or sell the underlying asset at some later date. Options also expire. They have expiration dates, which is the last day you can exercise the option. If the option's not exercised by its expiration date, it's worthless. Normal stock trading doesn't have that expiration date. So we're going to look at the four main types of options trading. This includes buying and selling calls and buying and selling puts, which is represented here in this 2x2 grid. So first of all, what does it mean to buy a call? A call option gives the holder of the contract the right, but not the obligation, to buy a stock at a specific price within a specific period of time. Okay? The buyer will pay a premium for the contract to the seller. The price, that's the buying a call we're talking about here. The price of the contract depends on how far away the expiration date is and what the strike price is. The strike price is the fixed price at which the owner of the option can buy or sell the underlying security. In the case of a buy call, it's the price at which you could strike and buy the stock. So the idea is you might think stock's going to go up in the next month. So you buy a call option with an expiration date that's a month away. If the stock price goes up above the strike price before the expiration date, you can exercise the option and buy the underlying asset at a lower price than what it's trading at on the market. Now, that might sound pretty good, but remember, you pay for the contract. So that's going to eat into the profits you're making. In addition to that, the stock price could go down or it might never surpass the strike price, in which case you paid to buy the option, but it went to waste and you've lost money. So an example would be you might have a stock that's trading at $10 a share today. You think it's going to go up maybe to $20 a share in a month. So you might pay $3 a share to buy at, $12 at some future period. So you've paid your 3. If you can buy at 12 and it goes to 20, your total price is 15, you've made $5 a share. Of course, if it goes down, you end up just wasting the $3 a share. That's roughly the math of it. So now let's talk about buying a put. Okay, that's this scenario over here. What is a put? If you buy a put, it gives you the right, but again, not the obligation, to sell a specific quantity of some asset at a specific price before the contract expires. So the difference is when you buy a call, you have the right to buy. When you buy a put, you have the right to sell. The buyer of the put pays a premium to the seller, just like with the call. But the hope here is that the price of the asset will go down during the time of the contract. It's like shorting, but it's not actually short selling. So if it works and the stock goes down, you can sell the security for a higher value than it's trading. Just like with a call, if it doesn't go down, if you don't exercise the option, you're just kind of out of luck. You paid for the contract and you didn't use it. Now let's talk about selling a call. When you sell a call, okay, that's this lower left quadrant. When you sell a call, you're on the opposite end of the trade. So you're the one selling these contracts and collecting the premiums. You're giving someone else the right, but not the obligation, to buy a number of shares at a strike price. If you are exercised, you have to sell the security, likely at a loss. Why would you do it? Well, you're hoping that the price of the stock will go down or at least stay flat or not surpass the strike price so that the buyer doesn't execute and you keep that premium. If it works out, you keep the premium, you make the profit. Lastly, you can sell a put. Okay, that's that fourth option over here. If you're doing this, you want the value of the underlying asset to increase, because what you're doing is giving someone else the right to sell a specific quantity of an asset at a specific price. You don't want it to go down below the strike price, because that means you're not likely to get exercised and have to sell your shares. Outside of these four types of options, there's something called straddles and strangles. A straddle is an options trading strategy where the trader holds a position in both a call and a put at the same strike price with the same expiration date. The goal there is you want to profit from a price movement in either direction, as the trader can make money if the stock price moves significantly higher or lower. So if you're expecting volatility, but you don't know which direction it's going to go, you might use a straddle. And then there's the strangle. The strangle is when you hold a position in both a call option and a put option, different strike prices, same expiration date. And that lets you profit off of volatility, but it's even more risky than the straddle, since you have to be right about the direction and the magnitude of that price change. Now that we understand this, what do I think of this? My opinion won't surprise you. Much like with individual stock trading, trading options is very risky. And it's usually even more risky because it often involves leverage. Also, options on stocks come in units of 100 shares, meaning if you're the one selling the contracts and you get exercised, you may have to buy 100 or more shares of the stock, with all of them going to the purchaser of the contract. So if you're doing this with a stock like Apple, trading at $130 a share, you get exercised, that's $13,000. Most people don't have that kind of money to throw around. That's why I go back to broken record, right? Dollar cost averaging into broadly diversified index funds in tax-advantaged accounts, and don't mess with stuff like this. Interesting to learn about it, have a base layer understanding. I don't get involved in any options trading.